Hey man, I'm back with another one. And like sometimes when I go places, like it might, like sometimes I'll try to like little jokes, and it might seem like I'm trying to be funny, but I'm actually trying to be funny because you gotta try to do, you gotta, to be good, you gotta like practice and try. And so I more so try to be funny. And if we can't, and that's because if we can't laugh at ourselves and laugh at life, our ass is done, man. We're not. So I've been like, I was sitting this channel that I stay with family for a long time, and I've been through a lot, but nobody's seen me come through more or helped me come through more than my actual mom. Like a lot of people be like, you can ask my mom, man. You can ask my mom some shit about me, and my mom could tell you some stuff. But and she actually my mom could tell you more real shit that I've seen and that I've been through than any person that would call themselves my friend, or that I once thought had been a friend. My mom could tell you way colder shit, and she's actually been through way colder shit, and she's way colder than any motherfucker that ever called himself my friend before. I just want to say that for the record, and it'll likely always be like that. But but I was making that other video, and I was like, I was talking about like, oh yeah, so what's the symbolism, like as a car drives by, and is that car friendly or not friendly, and what is that registering to the back of my mind in the symbolism of that? And I'm gonna be reminded that of a dream. And then as I'm making that, a car flies by at like 60 miles an hour on a residential street, past a stop sign, where they got something hot on them, they're hot, or they got something hot that's on them, that's on their ass. And so I took all my symbolism a few blocks up the road to do further to elaborate further on symbolism. um but that's me trying to be funny right there. But this is a nuanced conversation. I offer this with respect. Sometimes I offer this with respect, but sometimes you have to be a little bit daring and bold to offer something of value that is to be original. I think you can't entirely be original without inspiration, at least, if not like sources to draw on, to give you like ammunition. So you want to have like an original machine gun, an original outpost. You got to have some original ammunition with you, and that likely came from somewhere, somehow. But and I try to give credit to that. I try to give credit to the righteous ammunition that I use for the outstanding scholarship that I've been blessed with at different times. Um, but um, but it's nuanced though. So, but what I was saying is that so sometimes you have something like there's value in, but there's also different thoughts about what's considered connotative and denotative. And sometimes something that's denotative, maybe that actually might be the actual reason that our modern iteration of living is preoccupied with numbers, is because I don't mean to say preoccupied because that sounds judgmental, but the reason a lot of things revolve around numbers is because numbers might be the most denotative expression that we have a means of. However, it's almost too denotative, because as I've made in other videos, we take sometimes numbers as more denotative, that is more definitive and certain than they may in fact be. And also we somewhat limit numbers and ourselves when we approach them that way, because life is anything to be anything, and is actually ours to define, and is as real as we define it, and we can do so with reason and inspiration. So I said in another video, is 1 and 1 2? So is 1 and yet again 1, is that another 1 and 2, or is 1 and 1 1 and still again 1, and therefore 1? And if that says, and 1 is as if one is from that standpoint as equally 1 as it can be 2, can it also be none from that standpoint? And so that's just an example of how the value that we're giving to terms is actually open to, is malleable. Actually, the terms, the expression, and even the value, as the value is a function of what we give things value. As human beings, we are creativity par excellence as beings, but as human beings among nature, according to Arthur Avalon, are thinkers par excellence. That is actually our prerogative and our right standing. Our standing in life is to stand on 2 feet. When you stand on 2 feet, according to Osho, the blood in your body is different. It affects your brain different than if you were on all fours. So actually, some of your higher thought processes, higher is relative because it's not better, but some of the order of thought processing and thinking that we do is facilitated by standing on 2 feet, and how that would affect the blood. But I've also said it might have to do with our feet also, and the electric the electric activity of our feet and how that affects our brain, our electrical activity in our brain, and the grounding of that. That's a pet theory of mine. But still, according to Osho, that some of our facility around thinking it's a function of our standing on 2 feet, and therefore it's our prerogative as standing on 2 feet. And as that, we are highly creative. The word creative might actually be an understatement, and therefore an oxymoron and a redundancy. But we are anything, including creativity, not the least of which creativity. And from that standpoint, we give things value with our attention, our heart, our mind, will, and emotions. We give things value. So just as like people are saying, you have some young people. I got a bus going by right now, and I can imagine those students getting off when they're in. I'm not just parked out somewhere where a bus would be. I was doing a delivery about a block away, and then something crazy drove by, so I ducked off to run my mouth and philosophize a couple blocks away. But a school bus just dropped off some young people, and I can imagine whatever those students had going on today in school, someone told them somewhere, this is a number, and this is what that number means, and this is how you do different things with that number, and this is how you be successful and happy according to what I'm telling you numbers are about and have to be. Is what I'm telling you. Is what someone likely told that student in some form today. But I'm saying that numbers are yet malleable because value is ours to ascribe and create constantly. And so, but still, numbers are maybe the more denotative thing that we have, and that's actually the values, because we can agree on ostensibly what is 2, what 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 might not actually, in fact, be 4 as we are thinking it is, and as definitively as we think it is. But we are all this expenditure is spent on schooling, and that is rearing and indoctrinating human beings as part of the broader society or societies, because it's now collective and global, to inculcate and indoctrinate the meaning of life in general. Value. We're being taught what value is in these different learning settings, not the least of which the values of numbers. So once we've been trained, that is forced, that is trained, that is made to appreciate 2 plus 2 being 4. Now we can write 2 plus 2 is 4 anywhere, and we more or less know exactly what that is supposed to mean. Yet a lot of things are ass backwards and going right off the cliff. So as much as we can appreciate simply 2 plus 2 is 4, and what we have in society revolves around denotative constructs such as 2 plus 2 is 4 in numbers, a lot of things are going straight to hell. But we're still we still think that 2 plus 2 is 4, and we by and large agree with that. But maybe we don't agree with that because we don't agree on anything. It's very difficult to get anything done that requires collaboration and communication, especially as value is on the table, which is actually what inspired this series. But according to Tajik Bey, you can actually have something of a detriment when you're employing connotative linguistics maybe it would be the way you're doing it or the intention behind it. But connotative linguistics lends itself to metaphor, that is symbolism, that is creativity par excellence. But it also lends itself to dishonesty and deception par excellence, and destruction par excellence. So like I was saying, like if you can imagine like sounding cool or using slang to get someone off into a car and go do something stupid that's not in their best interest and that their instincts warn them about, but your persuasion and your employment of metaphor, connotative linguistics persuasion, I think that's the word, persuaded them, because it's persuasion. Then at that point is connotative linguistics lends itself to creativity within the expression, but also persuasion. But you would think you would see that clearly enough when I'm talking about slang, but you wouldn't appreciate that as a broader society, a proper society, a status quo, an entrenched power structure, actually handing off and inculcating people with connotative terms, or at least connotative understanding that does not serve them. And so according to Tajik Bey, the word black might be one of those. But I've said that word black has been, the value is still ours to ascribe and to create. So I say as much as that word may have been used to injure people, it's also been used beautiful when we didn't have another placeholder, or that's what we know. So from that standpoint, black is as beautiful as anything, and beautiful as anything, and if not more beautiful than anything is black, because we're all really black, because our space is more so black. So, and we come from that. So I think from that standpoint, we can be appreciated as black. All of us. But I didn't mean to be arbitrary with that, or like chauvinistic with that, because all people are beautiful. Whatever your appearance and background or understanding of that, you are beautiful. You are simply beautiful. I say that to anyone watching this. And your value and what you understand yourself as is yours to define and share and enjoy. So I guess I'll sign off with this one, but I got a couple more videos in this series.